friends, today we are working on estimating sums. So go ahead and write that at the top of your notebook. Okay, there could be some different types of story problems and situations that you will read, like our math message, where an exact answer is not required in order to solve the problem. So a quick and easy way to think about estimating sums is rounding, right? So let's start off with a basic one here. Go ahead and write this expression down in your notebook. What is the largest place value that both of these numbers have in common? The tens, that's right. So I'm going to round to the nearest 10 right here. So as I underline my digits in the tens place, I'm looking next door and asking myself if that digit is 5 or greater. I'm going to use my thumb, right? So when I count 2, 1, 2, my thumb's not being used. So I would round 52 to 50. So it's either going to stay the same or it's going to round up. Since I count 1, 2 and don't use my thumb, I round 52 to 50. Okay? When I look at 49, rounding to the nearest 10, looking next door, it counts 9. If I use my thumb, then I'm going to round up. If I don't use my thumb, then I'll stay the same. So I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's that thumb. So 49 rounds to 50. So 50 plus 50, friends, is good. This is a nice basic one. Let's try another one. Go ahead and write this expression down in your notebook with me. We have 786 plus 293. Okay, as I take a look, what is the largest place value that both of those numbers have in common? Hundreds, that's right. So I'm looking to round to the nearest 100. So I'll look at my next door number here in the tens to decide whether I'm going to stay the same or round up. So 786, I take a look at the 8s. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's that thumb. So 786 rounds to 800. Good. 293, looking at my tens, I have 9 tens, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's that thumb, so I'm going to round up. 293 rounds to 300. So that means I have 8, 9, 10, 11 hundreds, or 1,100. Okay, you can do the same thing with 3 digits. Okay, make sure that you've got this jotted down here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase. Go ahead and write this expression down. We have 316 plus 145 plus 459. Okay? So on this one, I want us to think about a roller coaster. Okay? Halfway through that roller coaster is 50, right? Go ahead and draw that roller coaster in your notebook. Another way to think about estimating sums is asking yourself where on the roller coaster your digit would be. So if I'm going to estimate 316, I'm going to estimate here whether it's going to be the beginning of my roller coaster, close to halfway on my roller coaster, or towards the end of my roller coaster here. So 316, it'd be about right here. So is that closer to the beginning of my roller coaster, the middle, or the end? Beginning, that's right. So my roller coaster for 316 would begin at 300. Okay, now 145, I've got 100 and 200. 145 though, is that closer to the beginning, middle, or end of my roller coaster? I would estimate it only 5 away from the middle, right? So I would estimate this to 150 if I'm using this type of method, which is just another way to think about it. Because estimation is just closer but easier in order to add things in your brain. So then I look at 459, I'm looking in between 400 and 500. Is it closer to the beginning, middle, or end of that roller coaster? The middle on that one, it's only 9 away, right? So I could estimate this one to 450 as well. If I was rounding to the nearest 10, you're right. But in this case, I'm rounding whether it's the beginning, middle, or end of my roller coaster right here. Just another way to think about it. So this time I'm going to use partial sums in order to add this up. So I have 300 plus 100 is 400. 400 plus 400 is 800. And then no 10s here. 50 plus 50 is 100. So I can do 800 plus 100 is about 900 right there. Okay, so go ahead and I'm going to give you a second. Make sure that you have each of those marks jotted down in your notebook. The next thing we're going to take a look at is estimating time. Because oftentimes if you're taking a trip somewhere, you want to estimate the number of hours and add those up to get the total number of hours of your trip. So when we're thinking about the beginning, middle, and end of an arc for time, what would halfway through with time be? If there's 60 minutes in an hour, halfway through then would be what? 30 minutes. That's right. So on this next one, I'm going to go ahead and erase. So I hope you've had time to jot this down. We're going to add up some time and estimate that. So let's say I went on a trip to Michigan City and it took me 3 hours and 40 minutes. And then I drove to Canada from there and it took me 4 hours and 25 minutes. I want to just estimate my time right here. And I'm going to go ahead and do another roller coaster, but instead for time, halfway through would be 30 minutes. I did. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so when I think about 3 hours and 40 minutes, I'm wondering whether this is at the beginning, middle, or closer to the end of a time roller coaster here. 3 hours and 40 minutes. What do you think, friends? Beginning, middle, or end? Yeah, about closer to the middle right there. Okay, 4:25, beginning, middle, or end here. So yeah, it's only 5 minutes away from this 30-minute halfway mark. So I can estimate that to about 4.5 hours as well. So I'm going to use that partial sums again. So I have 4 full hours plus 3 full hours is 7 full hours. And then 30 minutes and 30 minutes makes a total of 1 hour, 60 minutes. So my estimate there is about 8 hours. Okay, got it? Okay, so friends, I'm going to show you one more, and we're going to go back to thinking about rounding to the nearest hour. So you still want to be thinking about halfway is not a 5, when it's minutes, it's going to be 30 minutes. So we'll do one more here. And I am going to add 3 sums of hours. We've got 6 hours and 10 minutes, plus 2 hours and 45 minutes, plus 6 hours and 35 minutes. So go ahead and write that expression down on your notebook. And this time I'm rounding to the nearest hour, the nearest hour. So I look here, it's 6 o'clock, and I ask myself, when I look over at 10 minutes, is that going to cause me to round up or stay the same? 6 hours, yeah, stay the same on that one. Only 10 minutes away from 6. So I'll do 6 hours. Okay, thinking about 60 minutes in an hour, I notice here we're only 15 minutes from our next hour, right? So I would round 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours. And then 6 hours and 35 minutes. I am past my halfway mark here, right? I'd be using my thumb if we were thinking about the 5 that's in the middle of the 10s right there. So if I am past my halfway mark, I'm going to round up. So 6 hours and 35 minutes, I'm going to round to 7 hours. So as I add that up, I have 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 7 is 16 total hours. Okay, long trip there, right? Have you been in the car for 16 hours before? All right, Ben, say goodbye.